So what if your mother or your father died and a will was presented for probate and you were convinced it wasn't the will of your father or your mother? What would you do? I'm attorney Dan Scott and I do probate work, and what I want to talk with you today is about what's called a will contest. That is a contest that the will that's being presented for probate, that is for approval by the probate court, is not a good will. The contest really in Latin is visit vel non, meaning is it a will or isn't it a will? And that is the only thing that the court decides if there's a will contest. And really there's about 4 or 5 main reasons why you might be able to contest a will. 2 of them are really simple. The first one is that it was not properly executed. Under Tennessee law, a will must be executed in front of 2 witnesses, each of whom must have seen the testator sign the will. The testator is the person that's writing the will. They must have seen the testator sign the will in their presence. So most of us that do wills require those witnesses to sign an affidavit that says that the testator signed the will in our presence and he stated that he wanted this to be the last will and testament. Okay? So if the will is not signed properly, then it is not a good will and the person dies intestate. The second thing is you might have a situation where there's no mental capacity to make a will. Now, the standard is pretty low, honestly, to make a will. All you have to do is know what assets you have and what you want to do with them on your death. And you really just have to know that on the moment that you sign the will. So you can have somebody that's going in and out. Yes, I'm competent. No, I'm not competent. But if they're competent at the moment they sign the will, then it's a good will, assuming the other formalities occur. The third thing is duress. Duress means that someone has put pressure on the testator to sign the will, okay? I mean, you know, you seldom see duress where they're holding a gun to their head, right? But what if you had an older person and the son was caring for this older person? Maybe it's an aunt. And he got exclusive control of the aunt, and he told the aunt, look, if you don't sign this will disinheriting your kids, I'm not going to come over to the house and take care of you anymore. I'm not going to bring you food every day like I do now. You might have a claim that she was under duress when she signed the will. The next one is like duress, only it's a little bit different. It's called undue influence. Undue influence occurs when someone has more influence on the testator than they ought to have, and that influence overcomes the testator's will, not will that they're writing, but their will, their desires. And we see that sometimes when there's a daughter that's taking care of the mother, and she convinces the mother, look, I want you to do a will and cut out all the rest of the kids, right? Or sometimes you have a caregiver, right? Sometimes you have a caregiver do the same thing. Occasionally, but not very often, you could have a lawyer that's actually taking care of a person and you convince them to leave all their property to you. Now, that's a bad thing for a lawyer, so you don't see that happen very much. But that's a pretty high standard. One thing you need to be alert to, if you've got a power of attorney, the testator has given you a power of attorney, and then she signs a will leaving a bunch of property to you, that will is going to be under higher scrutiny because you have a fiduciary relationship with the testator. And then the final one is fraud. Much harder to prove. Maybe that's not the signature. Maybe the pages have been changed. You know, it was 5 pages and one of the pages has been retyped and slipped in. That's pure fraud, a misrepresentation of fact. So those are the 5 reasons why a will can be contested. And if the will is contested successfully, the court says this is not the testator's will. And so there is no will unless there's a will that's prior to this one that you can find the original of. Okay? I hope this video was helpful to you. If you would like to receive notice of when we do new videos, would you just subscribe to the channel? And YouTube will let you know that we posted a new video. We do that all the time. And if there's someone that you know that might need this information, share the video with them, would you? They will appreciate it, and I will appreciate it too. Talk soon.